Great. I think everybody is here now. So my voice is audible, Datta?
Yes, it's
Sure.
audible.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for confirming. So let's start the day, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone from all parts of the world who have registered for this great webinar happening today. We are really excited for this and hope you and your family are doing safe in the COVID times. Our best wishes are with all of you. Now, to begin with, let me introduce myself and the company to you. My name is Nitin Naveen, and I'll be your host for the day. I'm working as Vice President Innovation Strategy at AI CoreSpot. Further, I have been joined by my colleague Arvind and Naveen, who will also assist me in keeping the event lively and resolving technical glitches if it comes in between. So thanks a lot to them for putting in such a hard work and making this one a huge success. We'll try to provide a seamless experience to all of you so that you can gain maximum output out of the same. Let me provide a brief background to all of you about AI CoreSpot. We started last year, backed up by Infovision, who is our knowledge and innovation partner, and Digit7, who is our technology partner. As a company in AI CoreSpot, our mission is to serve as a hub for information regarding all the emerging Industry 4.0 technologies, which includes AI, ML, digital twin, AR, VR, IoT, robotics, blockchain, 5G, edge AI, edge computing, analytics, cloud, and so on. The focus is to provide all of you a deep dive in all the sectors where technology is there, and every month we have a separate theme. We are gaining momentum every month on month. Our aim is to be number one AI driven community all over the world so that like minded people like you all can be a part of the same in supporting, growing, and making it a success. We have some interesting content through the digital part which we are doing, the blogs, the videos, the podcasts, the newsletters which we share with our registered attendees to shed light on this ever evolving industry. The focus is to do industry backed webinars and hybrid events. The knowledge and all the repository will be made from reliable data through the industry leaders, subject matter experts, thought leaders, and our partners Infovision and Digit7. Now about today's webinar which we are having. It's a lovely and unique webinar around a great theme which covers importance of digital transformation in energy and utility sector. So if you guys want to understand the emerging opportunities and risk owing to digital transformation in the renewable energy front, then you are in the right place. We'll go all over it throughout the panel discussion and give lots of insights to all of you. There are lots more in store for this month as well as subsequent months, with focus on a lot of industries like banking, financial, insurance, telecom, retail, healthcare, supply chain, manufacturing, energy, utility, and so on. So request all of you to go through our website, which is aicorespot.io for future updates. Also, please like our social media handles, which will keep you all updated on everything what we propose to offer in the coming months to follow. So before starting with this day, I would like to highlight few things so that it can set up the tone for the amazing learning and networking day. A special mention about our knowledge and innovation partner, which is Infovision. So some background about them. They are end-to-end IT and business service provider, specializing in providing technology transformation and innovation projects for over 25 years across multiple industries. They have more than 3,000 technology professionals working across 12 global locations, including US, Latin America, Middle East, and India. They serve over 65 customers across banking, financial industries, telecom, media, retail, consumer goods, healthcare, and manufacturing industries. The core services they offer includes digital engineering services comprising of cloud, big data, analytics, DevOps, application services, legacy modernization, digital quality assurance, mobile, API, microservices, social media research and analysis, cybersecurity. They also have an state of the art research and innovation lab named Digit7 in Richardson, Texas, which they started last year with four great products, which includes dgraph, DigitShell, StackSquare, and FlyRobo. The beauty about all the four products is that they are cost effective, customizable, and can be used in every industry where the technology is needed. With their strong technology capabilities and delivery expertise, we are sure that they can help anyone in their transformation journey provide technology needs to build future-proof business model and excellence into one's and customer experience. So to get in touch with them, kindly log on to their website, which is infovision.com, and leave your details through the contact us section. Now, moving on and coming to our community partners for today. It includes Kinectrix, Rocky Mountain Power, and Smart Energy Water, who came together to make this webinar a success. A special mention to attendees of the event who registered and came today to achieve their objectives through this forum. At the end of the day, if you gain few things out of this or get to network with each other, then our core objective as a platform will be achieved. Further, if anybody wants to ask questions, they can type it in the Q&A section, which is there at the right corner of the menu option. You can type in as and when the panel member speaks, and we'll try to get it answered as per the time permitted. There's also a hand button at the bottom of the screen through which you can even raise the hand and come to the stage to ask questions to the speakers as well. So now let me hand over the stage to Datta, who is the Chief Business Officer handling Energy and Utility Division from Infovision, who is the moderator for this panel discussion as well. He's joined by Neeraj, Head of Application Services, IT and Global Business Transformation at Kinectrix. Another leader is there, who's Sharon, Vice President, Wyoming at Rocky Mountain Power. And the third leader whom we are having here is Kuldeep, who is Director Product Delivery at Smart Energy Water. So over to you, Datta, to begin this exciting panel discussion.
Thanks, Nitin.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks to the audience, panel speakers, and everyone on this call. We have a great topic today in energy and utilities. So I'll just take a step back and then just give the context. See, without energy, life doesn't exist. And all forms of life extract energy from the environment and convert it to forms which can be used. So humans are not different. To give the perspective of how all these things have started and where we are, just for the audience purposes, see, the primitive man found in the East Africa millions of years ago. So he just used 2000 kilocalories because it is only for food and there was nothing to heat, and he was not using the fire. Whereas around 100,000 years ago, it went up by around 2.5 times when the primitive man had better methods of acquiring the food and also burned the wood for heating and cooking. So the advanced agriculture man of 1400 AD in the northwestern Europe again doubled the amount of energy consumption as he began inventing the devices to tap the power of wind and water, began to utilize small amounts of coal for heating and harness the animals to provide the transportation. The main shift started during the industrialization with the invention of the steam engine, caused by threefold increase in energy consumption by around 1875. So among the other things, the steam engine also allowed the man to unlock the Earth's vast concentrated storage of deposits of solar energy, coal, gas, and oil. And now if we really see, the daily usage has crossed more than 250 times what was done years back. Especially now at the cusp of a major shift in the use of energy with Industry 4.0, where we have a lot of movement towards save the planet, reduce the carbon footprint, decentralized power generation, and also digitization. There is a lot of venture capitalist funds. There are more than 10,000 plus startups just within the energy and utilities sector across the globe. And some of them are doing very significant work in this space. And they are leveraging the digital technologies now which is available across the value chain of energy and in the utilities sector. But we all know no change comes without pain, without challenges, and without risks. So it is more so now because we are geographically dependent and also we are distributed in the world. So it is complex. So in order to discuss on this topic, fortunately today we have a great panel speakers, Sharon, Kuldeep, and Neeraj, who have extensive experience in the field of energy and utilities, and they have been practitioners helping implement some of these technologies and in the middle of this revolution. We will deep dive into specific areas once we have introductions from them and get started. One request to audience, we really seek your active participation in order to keep it interactive and also to help all your questions answered. We'll take the answering the questions at the end of each topic in the Q&A section, whatever comes out. And also we will dedicate around 5 to 8 minutes in the end for any unanswered questions. So over to you, Sharon. Please go ahead with your introduction and then we'll get started.
Good morning. Thank you, Deeta. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you today, and we appreciate those who are joining us internationally. My name is Sharon Fain. I am Vice President for Rocky Mountain Power. We are a Berkshire Hathaway energy company. We provide safe, reliable, and affordable electric service to approximately 150,000 customers in Wyoming in the United States. It is part of PacifiCorp, one of the lowest cost electricity producers in the United States, serving more than 2 million customers in 6 states in the Western region. Besides being the largest energy producer and electric service provider, Rocky Mountain Power is a major employer and taxpayer in Wyoming. We employ more than 1,600 people in the state and operate and maintain a well-run, diverse fleet of resources, including 12 wind facilities, 12 thermal generation units, and more than 12,000 miles of transmission and distribution lines supporting customers, local economies, and communities. Thank you, Deeta.
Thank you, Sharon. Kuldeep?
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon, and thanks, Datta. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Kuldeep Andhare. I am a director at Smart Energy Water. I have been with the utility industries for over 15 years now, heavily focused on the technology side of the things. At Smart Energy Water, we provide world's leading AI ML enable based customer engagement platform and mobile workforce platforms. We have more than 400 plus customers across all the continents. One of the pride that I take at working at Smart Energy Water is our customer engagement platforms, whether it's web portal or even our mobile apps, their ratings are higher than Uber. And the reason I bring that up is we like to compare ourselves with Ubers and Facebook because that's what is missing today in utilities industry. Utility, unfortunately, is one of the sluggish industry in terms of adopting the technology. And at Smart Energy Water, we are changing that. Instead of adopting the technologies that are invented outside, we want to invent the technologies within the industry and then provide to our clients. With more than 4.8 star ratings for our mobile apps, our customer experience is above par with Uber and Facebook. And that being said, I'm delighted to be part of this panel, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kuldeep. Neeraj?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this amazing forum. I really appreciate everybody joining and taking the time to connect with us today. My name is Niraj, and I am the head of IT and application services at Kinetrix Incorporated. Kinetrix is a Canadian company, and we are the category leader in providing full life cycle management services for electricity industry. We are trusted by clients worldwide. Our expertise is in engineering, testing, inspection, and certification, and we are backed by independent laboratories and testing facilities around the world. We have diverse field of inspection equipment, and we have over 1,200 highly technical staff that includes scientists and highly engaged engineers to provide these services around the world. We have 20 facilities in 6 countries. We provide manufacturing services for nuclear industry, and we have over 25 plus labs that caters to various aspects for testing and R&D in the electricity generation, hydro, and nuclear industry. In my role, I look at the manage overall global IT infrastructure and also oversee the application development, both internal application and also customer facing that provide the value services for our customer. We engage at Kinetrix. Our mantra is to provide value-add services to the electricity industry. That also includes digital transformation services. Electricity industry, electricity generation utilities is changing. As Kuldeep mentioned, that they're slow to adopt, but we are, as a supplier, we are forefront in providing that transformation services to our clients through the entire life cycle of electricity generation. So really look forward to connecting with all of you and sharing a lot of great experiences and practices that we do at Kinetrix.
Thanks, Neeraj. So let's let's deep dive into some of the areas. See, I think every industry, when it is going through a change, there is a need. There should be drivers behind why we are changing. So let's take a quick poll from our audience and then see what are the drivers they are thinking. Arvind, can we get our first poll up?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll give 15 seconds once the poll is up so that we get a perspective of the audience.
So the poll is on the right-hand side of the section. So if you click on the poll tab, so you'll see the question and the answers. We'll wait for 10 seconds. So Datta, 67% say all of the above. So the question is drivers for digital transformation in energy and utility sector. 67% says all of the above. 33% says digitalization, and rest all.
I think that's great. I think let's go to our speakers and then get their perspectives on what they see actually are the drivers they are seeing. I think we are well aligned with the audience in terms of the drivers. So, Kuldeep, do you want to give your perspective on what are really the drivers by which you are actually within your organization or working on some of these initiatives, as well as in general in the energy and in the utility sector, how it's moving, and then we'll followed by Sharon and then Neeraj.
Absolutely. I think that's a very interesting outcome of the poll. You're saying all of the above, but then we have close to 33% saying digitization, right? And I think that's where Smart Energy Water comes into picture in providing those cutting-edge customer experience platform to our clients. So at very high level, at 1,000 feet level, I see there are two drivers affecting or driving that digital transformation in the energy and utility space. One is the technology evolution that is happening outside of the industry. Technology will always evolve irrespective if anyone adopts it or not. And utilities business model, if you look at it, it has become more reactive in nature. Something happens outside of the industry and then we react to it. The great example is electric vehicles, right? We have seen the high adoption in the electric vehicles. Now utility industry is coming up with new rate plans and ability to provide data disaggregation to provide how much consumption has happened on electric vehicle sides. So industry has become more reactive to that. They are providing cutting edge customer experience platforms so users can have a better visibility into their AMI data. So this reactive model is a good thing, even if we are not proactive. Either we are getting pushed towards moving and digitizing our core applications, our infrastructure, in order to adapt to all the technologies that are evolving outside of utilities industry. Another area I would say is AI, ML, and IoT as well. Leveraging that in data disaggregations, leveraging that to have deep insights into your data that's being leveraged on a day-to-day basis. That kind of gives power to the users, and that gives makes them able to make that informed decisions on how to save dollars on their energy, and then how to better use the renewable resources as well. So at high level, evolution of the technology outside of utility industry, I believe, is driving the transformation. And then second big thing, and this discussion cannot happen without mentioning that, is climate change, right? There's a big impact of climate change that's happening, and utility industry is one of the big industries to drive that on the direction. The great example that we saw, I think it was back in winter of 2021, we had a freeze in Texas and millions lost power because of the infrastructure freeze. After that, our court has spent across $1 billion to prevent that happening this year. So for this year, if I remember the numbers correctly, in July, their forecasted demand was close to around 75,000 megawatts, but their actual demand was 80,000 megawatts. Even their forecasted actual was way above what was forecasted by the ERCOT teams, right? So ERCOT team has put in great infrastructure in place. They have put in great power reserves in place, and that's the reaction to the climate change that's happening. So a few years ago, just before the start of the COVID, there was a great article at Forbes, and it was titled like, "Who led your digital transformation in the organization? Was it your CIO or was it COVID-19?" And the answer has been COVID-19, right? And I think something similar is happening in utilities industry. What is leading the digital transformation? Is it customers? Is it utilities? Or is it climate change? Now, I believe the major driver is climate change.
Thanks, Kuldeep. Sharon, do you agree with Kuldeep, and then your perspectives on that?
I do agree with Kuldeep, and I appreciate his mentioning of the tech evolution. Utilities are historically, as he mentioned, very cautious adopting new technologies, but we as a Berkshire Hathaway company have the resources to invest in the infrastructure to support change. So I appreciate his comments. We are implementing new technologies to provide our customers real-time outage information. As many of you know, we are people would like and customers want instantaneous information about their service if there's an interruption, how long the interruption may take place, and also we offer an opportunity on our new tech platforms for real live instant information on their energy usage. So the technology evolution has entered the utility space, and we are providing customers with new opportunities to manage their usage, manage their costs, and gain more information about their service. We also appreciate the fact that we have customers that are demanding a less or a net zero emissions. They would like to lower their carbon footprint. They want low cost. They want reliable energy on the path to the net zero emission. And we are investing billions of dollars in our transmission build-outs here across the Western region, as well as investments in additional renewable energy and new advanced nuclear technologies. We are finding more and more not only residential customers, but industrial customers are adopting an environmental stewardship mission, and they are looking for less carbon emission generation, and that is our way to support economic growth in our region and providing those services to our customers. Thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. So, Neeraj, from the evolving new base of basically the renewable energy sources. So what is your perspective from that angle?
by
Correct.
Kuldeep and Sharon. So can you? But I'm not gonna repeat what great things that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, Kuldeep and Sharon has provided. But I'm gonna try and add a few more interesting elements to the conversation. So the drivers, as the utilities industry is embracing the digital transformation, I mean, they're finding themselves at an interesting crossroads, where you have a mix between aging infrastructure, which was never really designed to actually work with the digital transformation, and also the need for embracing new infrastructure that needs to be connected into as part of the smart grids or the new digital transformation platforms that the infrastructure is being designed. So that actually adds a very interesting conundrum to the utilities industry, is that what do we do with this aging infrastructure? It's not that these controllers or distributors or transmissions, then they can just easily replaced. What we do at Kinetrix is that we actually actively solving a lot of that issues for the electricity industries. We have something called reverse engineering, where we actually work with the utilities providers and actually look at their controllers and their mechanisms that are aging or just simply don't exist in the market, and be able to reverse engineer them and provide them with retrofitted parts, but actually built in smart technology in it, so that they can be then brought into their network, or they can be brought into the cyber, like into the digital transformation that they're trying to do. So trying to bring the information technology and operational technologies together is absolutely very important. What we're also finding in the utilities industry is the accuracy of forecasting on what's happening out in the field, the usage, and especially with the changing weather and the geopolitical situations, is actually a very important driver for digital transformation. The better you can forecast, the more competitive you become, and then of course, right, that can be only done through digital transformation. Also, the need for asset tracking and asset security has never been more important in the utilities industry. What we are finding today is that the ability to be able to know where my asset is, my condition of the asset, be able to get the data from the assets and make informed decisions on that asset in terms of predictive maintenance, be able to get the insights into the assets and schedule stuff around the asset as becoming more and more important driver, because as the assets are aging, it is that's what's also causes that actually, actually is a counter to the decarbonization, also the counter to the efficient services. And lastly, right, like we do want to digitally transform, but the cybersecurity definitely remains a huge concern. We all are aware of a colonial pipeline ransomware attack that actually happened. I mean, we are all in utilities industry. It's a national assets. We don't want to introduce anything in those assets that can cause such issues. So having a thought through process around the cybersecurity is definitely and also a good driver for the digital transformation.
Thanks, Neeraj. I think a couple of themes which came in the discussion. One is the aging core assets, the current, basically the infrastructure. Second is some of the challenges. So let's get the next poll, Arvind, up, and slightly deep dive on the barriers or the challenges for basically adapting to the new technology. Because we also heard that typically utilities is the one where it is slow to adapt. So let's see what are the challenges. So yeah, I think the next poll question is up.
Yes.
We'll give.
So the next poll question is barriers for digital transformation in energy and utilities. The options are cost adapting new technologies from workforce, low margins, security, all of the above. So we'll wait for 10 seconds to answer this. So 43% says that adapting new technology from workflows, and 29% says all of the above. Rest of the 29% says that cost adapting.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, right? See, one typically in energy and in the utilities, the workforce is basically, at least now at this juncture, there are a lot of aging employees, and then the new set of generation which is taking over in the energy sector. That is one. The second thing is, in terms of the adaptation of the technology, typically the margins are really low. So, Neeraj, what's your perspective on, uh, especially I think you talked about the cybersecurity, as well as the aging, the infrastructure. So, what are basically some of the things which are being done, and then how it is being addressed in order to basically adapt to the new technology?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that these are definitely the challenges, and I agree. Like, all the above, all the challenges here in the poll, they all add to various roadblocks for adopting the digital transformation. So one thing we all have to remember, that digital transformation is inevitable, right? Uh, it doesn't matter, like, the digital transformation is now basically becoming to a point where that doesn't matter which industry you're in. You could be in manufacturing, you could be in the utilities, you could be in power, nuclear, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are a technology company, because if you're not adopting technology, your competitors will, and it's just going to be harder to adopt, right, in due time. So kudos to the companies who are pushing forward to the digital transformation front. Definitely, cybersecurity remains on the very top, because as the assets are aging, replacing the assets is not necessarily something easier said than done. I mean, especially in the power distributors, especially who have invested a lot of infrastructure over the last 15, 20 years, the technology was quite old, versus the newer build up technology is much different. So this is where, at Kinetrix, we recognize that, and we basically try to bring the information technology and operational technology through our R&Ds together, and produce solutions for the electricity industry that can really help drive the cost down, and produce the assets that can really be brought into the digital transformation fast and at a lower cost, and with higher cybersecurity. The cybersecurity side of the world is also very important, because as new devices are being manufactured, they basically need to be connected to the data systems, or remote controllers, and other technologies, right? Even down to a point where these devices might even providing direct information to consumers, right? And trying to keep these devices protected is very important, and absolutely the amount of investment that are required on the cybersecurity side can be a deterrent for a lot of companies to take on this kind of digital transformation. But if done right, with a proper strategic mindset and with the right partners, definitely a good way to proceed forward.
Thanks, Neeraj. Sharon, I think one point came out from Neeraj is, there are a lot of things which are being done in the other industry verticals, right? Typically, retail is one to embrace, and also telecom is one of the forefronts to embrace the technology first compared to all other industry verticals. So, how are these being leveraged within the energy and utility space?
So I'd like to go back to the question as well, Dita, on the challenges related to the transformation that we're experiencing specifically. As we move forward with additional investments in renewables, solar and wind, we have to ensure that the reliability and the base load is there for our customers, as well as low cost. So as we move forward, some of the challenges we faced are identifying those low carbon emission resources that are affordable for our customers, that will provide the reliability that they've come to expect from PacifiCorp and Rocky Mountain Power, coupled with maintaining the low-cost energy that is important for our customers. I'd like to also address the responsible transition that as we move forward with early retirement for coal plants in Wyoming and Utah specifically, we have served these communities for more than 100 years in many cases, and we have a responsibility to work with our employees as we move through the transition through reskilling, relocation opportunities, but also reimbursement and providing them an opportunity for new education and certifications and reimbursing the employees for the costs, developing a priority hiring process, and making sure we have initiatives and a plan available for the impacted, the coal employees that are impacted by the transition. We're also working very closely with the communities that will be impacted as we transform our company and transform our generation assets, making sure that we're engaged with the communities as we go through the closure or retirement of coal assets, that we are working with them to identify opportunities to diverse their economy. We've even worked with the Wyoming County Commissioners Association to employ a professional grant writer to provide the technical assistance for those communities to apply for federal grants and available resources as they identify the strengths of their economy and how to best diversify once those generation resources are retired. So appreciate the opportunity, but transformation, it's not only digital, but it also is a very human component that we are aware of and committed to as we walk through this process and this transition with not only our employee team members, but our communities.
Thanks, Sharon. Kuldeep, from your perspective?
Sure. So there's one common theme I heard from what Sharon and Neeraj said, right? And that's my favorite word I heard here is engagement, community engagement, reaching out to your customers. Because at the end of the day, whatever we do on the utility and energy space, our customers are the one they are going to consume. They are the final consumers, that is residential, commercial, doesn't matter. And I think the biggest barrier that we have seen is we are investing millions and billions in infrastructure, in AMI, and even in the back-end applications on the utility side. But the question is, how do I do that without increasing the rates for the customers, right? Common man is asking questions. Okay, you spend millions in AMI, you spend millions in putting in new OMS and new billing system. What am I getting? What is the value that I am getting here? That's the biggest question that's being asked, right? And I think that's where I like this word, the Sharon mentioned, community engagement. That's where the customer engagement comes into picture. If you look at the complete digital value chain, the final value is complete, is realized as soon as that value is delivered to our customers, to our residential users, to our commercial users. The great example that just recently happened a few weeks ago, that's why it's fresh in my mind. We had a number of clients in the Florida, Carolina, North Carolina region, and just a few weeks ago, they were hit by Hurricane Ian, right? Now, Florida has spent in last decade close to $3 billion in upgrading to their infrastructure. But even after, when the Category 5 hurricane hits, there were millions out of power. Because the fact of matter is, no matter how much money we spend, we cannot fight Mother Nature. Her forces are too strong. We cannot have a foolproof system. What we can do is we can have a resilient system. We can have a more reactive system. And our clients were getting continuous updates for the outages that they were having. They were getting continuous updates about the restoration times. And they had that continuous ability to connect to the utility industry or utility CSRs to know what's happening and what's going to happen in coming days. I think this engagement is what is crucial, and that's what Smart Energy Water tries to provide that missing bridge between utility and other customers through the customer engagement platforms, and finally deliver that digital value for which all the investments that has been happening on the behind the walls, and provide that value to our customers through these mobile applications, through the web portals, through these engagement platforms where they can not only see the real-time usage, where they're not only able to connect to the CSRs, but they are also able to make some informed decisions. They are able to select the rate plans if they have electric vehicles. They are able to switch to the time of use rate plans, saying, okay, my usage has been more during this time. Okay, let me switch that out. All this informed decision is what is helping them driving the transformation, getting the feedback from the customers, and driving the transformation on the utility side, as well as removing those barriers going forward.
Thanks, Kulip. So, as we are going through this, I think in order to leverage basically the technology, especially there are a lot being done in the other industries as well in the AI/ML space. So, how the AI/ML is really affecting in the energy and in the utility space, especially to some of the things which couldn't be done earlier or which couldn't be done faster, how it is being embraced. So let's go to the next poll question, Arvind, and then seek the audience opinion as well as we start this particular section. We will revisit some of the points which we discussed if the time permits.
Absolutely. Yeah, the poll is live now. So the question is application of AI and ML in energy and utility sector. So the options are capacity forecasting, plant reliability, efficiency, performance management, and all of the above. We'll wait for 15 seconds to answer this.
Yeah, it may not be. They are only selected few, but I think once we get the poll, we will get some insights into each one of these areas, how actually each company is approaching.
So 71% says all of the above, 14% say efficiency, and the rest of the 14% say plant reliability.
Great. So, Sharon, basically, probably you can start this particular section. So, how basically within your company and then within your perspective of what you are seeing, how the AML is being embraced?
So for us, we're installing the automated metering infrastructure, the AMI that Kuldeep had also mentioned. That's truly important for our customers, really. As they log into their accounts, they really do want that real time and instantaneous outage information that will improve and modernize our outage response. So there are several different benefits to implementing these new technologies, really also providing customer insights about their power use. As we have some challenges with inflation, people are really paying attention to the cost of energy and also their ability to control their usage and control those costs. So those new platforms provide us an opportunity to share with our customers real time their current usage, even in the middle of the month, to give them a guide of what that energy bill may look like towards the end of the billing cycle. Those insights are really empowering to the customers. I think that it's an opportunity for us to further engage and strengthen that relationship and have them understand their ability to control costs utilizing those new tools and platforms. The technology helps us keep our rates down as well and lays the foundation for a more resilient and efficient power grid and our ability for engagement. Thanks, Dita.
Neeraj?
Thank you, Datta. The AI and machine learning plays a very critical role in what we do at Kinetrix and the services we actually offer for our customers. Because as you know, the digital transformation is happening. The world revolves around the data, right? And the ability to be able to take that data and convert them into meaningful conclusion is extremely important. Traditionally, utility sectors have relied upon manual data collection, or go and visit data collection, or relied upon pressure sensors or transducers, or whatever the like sensors that might be embedded in there, with data coming in and utilized some sort of analytics platforms to be able to produce those some analytics out of it. But the demand for the ability to use that data into driving meaningful conclusion is becoming extremely more important day by day. And this is what we see how the utilities industry is really asking for those. To give you real examples, for everybody in the electricity industry, the steel conductor cables that basically have electricity that flows on them is the condition of those cables are extremely important for the utilities industry, because the last thing you want is to have a failure while the electricity is actually flowing through it. So at Kinetrix, we actually have developed robots that they're called Line View. You can Google it, you can see it. The Line LINEVUE robots that that basically go and clamp themselves onto these electricity conductor cables, and they traverse the entire length of the cables, and they are able to use the ultrasound technologies to be able to detect any local breaks and deep pits into the steel core wires. So what happens is that as they are pinging the cables, they are also able to collect the data, and the millions of data points that are actually brought on and collected by this robot is actually fed through the AI machine learning uh, engine that we have developed to be able to detect the conditions of these cables, yeah, almost in real time, and provide reports back to our customers to see how the grids are actually doing. We deploy very similar technologies like these in nuclear reactors, where we tap into the data source of like millions of pressure sensors or transducers into various components inside the nuclear reactors, and use AI technologies that we have developed in order to produce, uh, in order to model, and also in order to do simulations, and also in order to provide predictive forecasts in terms of failures or things that could possibly happen, or even predicting the repairs that is going to be required on the assets. So this is how we have developed these solutions for our customer, and the demand is even getting higher.
So I think you touch based on the plant reliability and then also on the efficiency part of it, right? So Kuldeep, from the uh, capacity forecasting point of view, as well as any other areas which you think are relevant, where there
Yeah,
is an applicability of the AI and ML.
sure. So the use cases for AI ML are unlimited, right? We can talk about that for days. But I'd like to focus on a few of the use cases that we are leveraging today with our clients in our day-to-day life. Now, for AI ML, the biggest thing is data. The more data we have, the better those algorithms are going to perform. With AMI in place, we do have very granular sampling of data now, even for electric, water, and gas meters. Now, at Smart Energy Water, our ML algorithms, our whole purpose and goal is to provide the end user, our residential and commercial end users, to make informed decisions. And in order to do that, one of the top things we do, and that somewhat fits into your capacity forecasting as well, is ability to predict the bills based on your past patterns, based on the usage that you have. And our predictions are close to 98 to 99% accurate. I have the time series usage data. I have your past bills. I have your usage pattern as well. Based on that, we feed those to our AI ML algorithms, and they are accurately predicting how your bills and how your usage patterns are going to look like based on different seasons, whether it's in summer, whether it's in winter. Based on those seasons, that gives our users an capability to make those informed decisions on managing their usage. The next heavy area we leverage AI ML is in the data disaggregation. What is that one appliance in my house which is consuming most of the energy, and how I can leverage it effectively to reduce the overall cost for my monthly bills, right? And then we feed all of this data into the rate plans, and then we provide those options to our customers to make that informed decision as well. Okay, we have detected, they haven't told us, but our AI ML algorithms have detected that you have electric vehicle and you are charging it. Our recommendation is you charge it at night during the off peak hours instead of the peak hours, and this is the X amount of dollars of savings that you are going to have. All this information is not done manually. This is not done in spreadsheets. This is all done through AI ML. Detecting the usage, making that informed decision, saying that, okay, this is the accurate rate plan for you, and you will be saving, say, $800 a year if you switch to that rate plan, and integrating that all that information with backend utility applications. So providing that end-to-end solution along with AI ML, I think that's what adds that value to the digital value chain that I mentioned, starting all the way from where the data is generated to the way our users get that data. AI ML is taking that way forward. Again, making and giving the users that ability to make those decisions. And at the end of the day, the whole goal of AI ML is to predict the demand. That's one, improve the performance, reduce the cost, and prevent system failures. That's mostly on the plant side of things, right? But I think that's the overall goal of AI ML, and that's how we leverage at Smart Energy Water.
Thanks, Kuldeep. See, from so far, the reliance of energy is mainly on the fossil fuels. And with this renewed focus on the renewable energy, there are a lot of new paradigm shifts which are happening, especially with the solar. Each consumer also is becoming a producer. So, how do you see this a whole ecosystem of the new virtual grid coming from the consumers, basically competing with the regular grids which are there, and then what are basically the implications of that? So, Neeraj, shall we start with you?
Thank you, Dada. Yes, technology as is becoming more and more mainstream, and the devices are being connected. The distributed energy sources and the microgrids technology is becoming even more accessible. I mean, that's for sure, and a lot of people are trying to adopt it. These technologies as they're becoming more and more mainstream, because there is a serious revenue that is actually coming on the table. If you look at just the statistics alone on the vehicle to grid, where you can actually put the electricity back from your vehicles back into the grid, there is just recently, I think there was a news out that the the vehicle charging industry is poised to exceed over like 30 billion or something, amount in just over next few years. And that's just electric vehicle charging. Every automotive company is investing into electric vehicles. They're like more than like 40 or something odd models that are poised to appear in the auto show from the major manufacturers over the next couple of months. So we're seeing a electricity revolution happening, and with that's happening, as more and more people adopt onto these electricity or the vehicles, Stark Reality is going to be looking at to them, saying, okay, I'm not using my car all the time. My car is parked, right? What can I do with this electricity that I have stored inside my vehicle? If I can charge it off the off-peak hours, can I inject it back into the grid and actually generate revenue out of it? Just the statistics alone on that vehicle to grid, I think the industry is over just even today with not so much technology out is basically generating close to 2 billion in revenue today in the market wise, and that's just North America alone. So imagine like if we have connected vehicles and more people are adopting vehicles, like the sky's the limit of these distribution technologies and microgrids and and actually giving power to the and decentralizing the power generation and distribution. And that's actually happening as we speak. Europe is more adopting these trends more faster. We see a lot of our customers going in that direction. US is a bit slow to adopt, but it's definitely inevitable. I mean, people like Sharon and Kuldeep more front to actual distribution business, so I'm pretty sure they'll have a different insight into this. So, I-
Yeah, Sharon, from your perspective, see, this also basically is going to create basically a margin reduction for the current, basically the ecosystem, right? So how are basically you think is the whole industry is adapting?
Well, I need Niraj's crystal ball. I appreciate and agree about the microgrids and how things are changing, which means opportunity for us. We either do better and provide the low cost, reliable energy that people are demanding. But I also believe that there's an opportunity for us to improve, but also opportunity for partnerships. I'm a big believer that if you can't control the market, you contribute and you partner where it makes sense. So for utilities, the traditional model moving forward, we need to adjust and adapt, just like with any change, develop new customer response programs to really be a partner with each of these customers that are really evaluating their opportunity to contribute to our system. So I appreciate that opportunity. We are looking at advanced nuclear. As many of you may know, the TerraPower company is planning to place their Natrium advanced nuclear project in Kemmerer, Wyoming, utilizing the infrastructure that will, once the Naughton power plant goes through early retirement, the infrastructure there, leveraging that for the new Natrium project. We're also evaluating pump storage battery, 3 projects in Wyoming specifically, demand response programs, battery storage, all are advancements that really do put the utility on a path to a net zero emission. But I also think there are opportunities for us to really engage with customers that are interested in contributing to generation or providing us with their battery storage moving forward. So I appreciate the opportunity to comment on that, Dita.
Thanks, Sharon. Kuldeep?
So I think at end of the day, the overall goal, whether it's evolving technology, whether it's virtual power plants, whether it's microgrid, right, whether it's distributed energy resources, at the end of the day, the final boiled down value is the reduced costs to the customers. That's where it all comes down to. We got to see reduced bills to the customers, right? Now, the cost of the solar photovoltaic as well as the battery is significantly going down. So the adoption is obviously going to go up significantly. I have customers, I have friends who have solar PV installed, and their return on investment was within 5 years. And in next 5 to 10 years, they are going to pay $0 bills to the electric utility company because they are generating more electricity and putting that on the grid, right? So now that being said, again, going back to giving that ability to the users to see how much of the electricity or how much of the power that you are generating and how much that you are saving to put that onto the grid, not just helping yourself, but helping the community around you. And then developing those virtual power plants, microgrids, leveraging the distributed energy resources to leverage that information to overall reduce the cost that's being presented to our customers. Now, that being said, going back to the customer engagement platform, having the solid customer engagement platform which gives visibility into this, not just their usage, but their capacity to generate the usage, how they are affecting their community, and overall having that end-to-end automated systems is I think is what's going to be the next step in the utility industry, especially on the distribution and customer side of the things. enabling heavy adoption into renewable energy resources, as well as making it possible for the users to make those informed decisions.
Thanks, Kulip. I think, Arvind, we can get the next poll question up. I think we touched upon one or two aspects of it, but let's wait for the audience to basically respond. There is one more, I think, question on the Q&A. Let me, as we are getting the poll up, what are the compliance challenges for the energy sector is meeting the new emissions regulations and sustainability targets? Any one of you? If you want to read the question, it is in the Q&A section of it.
So I can take a first shot at this, and others you can jump in. When it comes to compliance challenges, right? We somewhat alluded to this, and the big thing is how do we meet our ESG goals? How do we meet our sustainability targets without increasing the cost to our clients? That's the biggest balance that we have to do. I can put in billions of dollars in getting the sustainability targets, and then I'm increasing the rates for the customers. That's going to fire back. That's never going to fly, right? How do we balance that out? That's one of the biggest thing that the compliance and the policy holders, the PUCs that are facing today. And in order to address that, right, making the wise decisions is one of the key things, I believe personally. Instead of investing into replacing your age-old applications, focusing more on how the value is being delivered to the customers will really help to get that positive feedback back to PUC and helping our policy regulators, policy holders to meet our sustainability targets. So overall, I think meeting that balance of investment in the infrastructure, in the applications, in overall digital transformation on the energy and utility space, and keeping the cost down for the clients. If we start meeting those balance, we'll start meeting those sustainability targets as well. But I'll let Neeraj and Sharon. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'd like to expand on Kuldeep's mention of the investment, and of course, the return on investment. The production tax credits coming out from the federal government have been instrumental in our ability to not only develop new renewable generation, but also pass those cost savings on to our customers. So the federal grant programs, production tax credits have been instrumental in our ability to move forward with that development and also provide cost savings to all of our customers.
Thank you. Do we have the poll results, Arvind?
Yes, Tata.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So the question is emerging new business due to digital transformation in energy and utilities. So 57% says all of the above, 29% says Internet of Energy, 14% says blockchain.
Okay, thank you very much, Arvind. So just I want to slightly expand on the ones where we are getting the incentives for the federal, especially for the solar as well as for all the renewable energies for people to adapt, both on the consumer side as well as on the industrial side. But do you think that it's really sustainable for the utilities companies to really compete with that? And or do you see that there'll be a lot of mergers and acquisitions because they are not going to be able to sustain the margins? Do you see basically the aggregation of the companies?
Well, I think the initial construction costs related to the development of renewables, the support of those federal dollars, that really is about the initial construction cost. There are no fuels associated with wind and solar, so the ongoing costs, I would anticipate really the next cost for upgrading and related to those renewable assets that are constructed, utilizing the production tax credits, really are eventually the repowering would be the next step. 15 years out, utilizing new technology again, and whether or not the production tax credits will be there to support the upgraded technology for the wind farms and the changing technology is a question maybe for Raj's crystal ball. But for us, the initial construction costs and the ability to leverage those production tax credits at that one time has been tremendously valuable.
Any added perspectives, Kuldeep and Neeraj?
Kuldeep, you want me to go ahead? Yeah.
Sure, go ahead, Neeraj.
Yeah. So that are like the nuclear. I'm going to provide an interesting perspective from the nuclear, right? So from the nuclear is one of the most safest and the most important renewable energy sources that's on the planet. However, to build up a nuclear reactor is a lot of investment, and try to maintain that is also, over the life of the nuclear reactor it's quite expensive. So the world is slowly shifting into something called small modular reactors. They call them SMRs, and they can drastically reduce the size of and the operating cost of the nuclear reactors. It is gaining a lot of popularity, especially in Canada and US on the SMR side. And Kinetrix, at our company, we are very highly involved into full lifecycle design, refurb, and build implementation of these modular reactors across the world. What we also see is that as we're moving into small modular reactor type nuclear reactor, with the distributed energy sources that are coming more on the market, like wind generation, solar generation, um, the market is reaching a very interesting tipping point where the cost for a regular person to own these distributed sources and be part of microgrid is becoming more and more achievable, and is becoming harder for the utilities provider to generate electricity because of the aging infrastructure. So I kind of relate that to I don't know what's the best way, like Texas oil boom, where you had the rigs of oils in the backyard at one time, where people are just drilling the oils in their backyards, right? So I see that a very similar analogy here, right, where communities are looking to basically pool resources to bring in these distributed resources like wind, solar, especially in the areas that can sustain that, and install the microgrids to inject the electricity back into the power grids. However, said that, the only way to this becomes more sustainable if the cost is relatively low on the for infrastructure. But this is where the utilities industry are really moving fast to go into the small modular reactors, so that the cost of producing electricity and cost of owning nuclear reactors becomes substantially lower. So it's a very interesting perspective on both sides to see how the market is changing. And just to add to that, sorry, Kuldeep, my apologies. Just one last on this one is the blockchain. I mean, I'm actively involved in a lot of blockchain technologies, and I mean, something that I definitely want to bring to this forum is blockchain is playing quite an important role in the technology, especially on the electricity distribution. And if there is another sector that is getting quite prominent called P2P electricity distribution, which is peer-to-peer electricity. And also, as you going into the microgrids, and even if you are an electricity distributor, a large electricity distributor, the blockchain technology is an incredible technology to basically bring a lot of efficiency into distribution, security, and direct consumer data delivery at a very fast pace. So definitely a great technology to adopt and make use of it.
Thanks, Neeraj. I was coming to that actually to the last point or the last theme what we wanted to take. Kuldeep, go ahead. I think if you have perspectives on that.
No, just quickly on we heard this term Internet of Energy, right? Which is a very broad term. It's interesting how industry comes up with new terms and terminologies, some fancy terms, but essentially that describes everything within the energy infrastructure system. So smart grids, as we know, are equipped with smart meters. They have sensors and alerting devices which continuously gather and display data to consumers so they can improve their energy consumption behaviors. And what we have seen, to Sharon's point earlier, the federal investment, the government incentives has been heavily focused on the utility side of the things. Now, the AMI has been in place for years, but there are more than 50% utilities in North America where the end users, they have no idea what AMI is and what is they are collecting and what value they can get. How there are less than 50% of utilities leveraging the demand response programs, right? So I hope the goal should be to invest. It's good to invest on the utility side of the things, but also to invest on the customer engagement side of the things, so we can start seeing that value flowing out of the utility side to the users. So that's all I wanted to add here.
Sure. Any perspective on the blockchain? Before you answer that, I just want to ask the audience if they have any final set of questions. We have under 5 minutes left. If you can actually post it on the Q&A section, we will pick it up in the next few minutes. Kuldeep, go ahead.
No, I think that's all I wanted to add in terms of Internet of Energy, as well as blockchain. Getting that all the investment dollars within the utility industry outside to the users, to our residential and customer users, is the key. That's where I think we will start seeing how the things are flowing. Now, to give you one good example, I'm in my office room right now. My meter is 10 feet away. My electric meter is literally 10 feet away. It's an Itron AMI meter, but I have no access to that data directly. That data is flowing all over the world. I don't even know. And then I'm getting that data on my cell phone. It's 10 feet away. All the data is generated here, but it's not, I'm unable to access it. But things are changing. If you look at Landis & Gear's new meter, I think it's called Revelo. It's a IoT meter. It's a fully internet and Wi-Fi enabled meter, right? Now, the next step is for me to directly connect to my meter, sample it the way I want it, and then I have AI ML algorithms on top of that to derive the value from it. And we are getting there. Again, utility industry is very slow-going industry. We are the most sluggish industry in there, but we'll get there. I'm pretty confident we are getting pushed to get there.
Sharon, you had some perspective there.
I agree with Kuldeep. We are very cautious as we move forward with implementing new technologies. We want Kuldeep to do it first, and when it works for him, we'll use it.
Absolutely,
but it is important that because we are really a very important part of people's lives, that we are very cautious when we're adopting new platforms and new technologies, and we want to make sure, obviously, everything is vetted and that technology really adds value to our customers and our ability to serve them.
So between Kuldeep and then Sharon, are you also embracing the blockchain yet, or basically you are still far away from basically embracing it?
I'm waiting for Kuldeep to prove that it's valuable and ready to go before we put it in place.
Yeah, all I can say is we are getting there. We are getting there. Yes.
I can see a supply chain being created here itself. So we will wait for
exactly.
So any other questions or any final comments? Basically, Neeraj, Kuldeep, Sharon, you wanted to put out there. I don't see any other poll questions or basically the questions from the audience. Just closing comments.
No, I just want to say, again, thanks for having me, Neeraj. Your knowledge on the nuclear side of the things was very enlightening. I've never been exposed to that area. That was very helpful. Sharon, again, thanks. What you have done at Rocky Mountain Power has been super helpful to know that as well. I think this has been a great audience, and thanks, Datta, for moderating this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for including us. We appreciate the opportunity to share what Pacific Corp and Rocky Mountain Power and Berkshire Hathaway Energy is doing on behalf of our customers. So thank you for today's conversation.
Thank you, Sharon.
Right, I think that we see the opportunity and help me showcase on some of the work we do in the providing support for the utilities and electricity industry. Sharon, very informative, was I learned a lot from both of you. So stay connected and thank for all the great knowledge here.
Thank
We
you.
have an audience, Abhijit Das
Oh, okay.
Hello,
on
everyone.
stage.
Actually, this is the end of the session, but I want to have a very quick answer for one of the question. So my question is, what would be some of the good strategies to accelerate digital transformation? Few points.
Vijay, can you
Sorry, I was not able to hear.
go ahead, Kuldeep? Yeah.
Yeah, I was not able to hear it.
Yeah.
I was not able to hear the question clearly.
What would be few of the good strategies to accelerate digital transformation for customers? So it won't be long-term projects, but customer can see some good value coming in shorter time. What would be some good strategies?
What are
Yeah,
the good strategies to accelerate the digital transformation to the end clients? Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Neeraj, you want to go first, or I can go as well?
No, I can definitely answer that. I mean, we deal with multitude of clients and offer the services. I think like the first thing first is understand the need in the market is not adopting technology for right? And a lot of times when you just have technology for the sake of adopting technology isn't going anywhere. So understand the need in the market and work with your customer to demonstrate the feasibility and the ROI on the technology implementation. Extremely important because a lot of times customers don't understand that what will it take for me to implement this and what would be my ROI look like if I adopted technology. So as long as you have clear objectives, clear demonstrable product, clear demonstrable technology and ROI that you provide to customer, which we understand, customer can take that and apply it to business models. Adoption technology in the business digital transformation becomes accelerated.
And just to add to my perspective, that's a great question, Abhijit, right? So let me give you a real life example. If I have a flat screen TV in market, I'm going to buy it. If I don't have it, I'm not going to buy it. Very simple, right? Same thing in utility needs. That's our approach at Smart Energy Water. Put the technology out there, and then utilities are going to leverage it. If the technology is not there, utility is not going to leverage it. As I mentioned earlier, utility industry is very reactive. The business model is very reactive in nature. And we want to change that to become more proactive in nature. And that can only happen if the technology is available. You don't make a plan and then start inventing a technology. Rather, let the technology be there, and then you make a plan based on that technology, right? So again, that's the goal here. Neeraj said a great point. There is a need, and then there's an availability of the technology itself. And at Smart Energy Water, that's our goal. Cloud utility industry is getting into the cloud. There's a huge organizational resistance to that. I don't want to get my utility data into cloud. They have been always been resistant to that, right? Convincing them, because everything is in cloud today. My social security number is in cloud today. All my bank data is in cloud today. What's the problem of having metadata in cloud today, right? What's that big issue, right? So making the cybersecurity top criteria to provide the solutions, giving that confidence to the clients, and then having those proper algorithms and infrastructure as well as technology in place will give our utilities confidence. Okay, this is the right way to go, and then will they start naturally adopting it, and that's what we are seeing at SCW as well. Make that available, and then the adoption becomes very natural.
Thank you, Kuldeep. Thanks, Abhijit, for asking the question. So I will just, before I hand it over to Nitin, thank you very much, Sharan, Kuldeep, and then Neeraj, for participating in the discussion and providing your thoughtful analysis on all these aspects. I really enjoyed moderating this, and I think we are at the cusp of a huge transformation. I think if we embrace the technology, we will be able to really go far. I wanted to ask one final question, but I think we are out of time. What will be probably 10 years down the line, but I think we are out of time. Nitin, over to you.
Thank you, Datta. I know sometimes time is a constraint, but I think what we have seen in the last an hour, amazing discussion about the energy and utility and how digital transformation strategies we are adopting, apart from other strategies which we discussed in the last 1 hour. Thank you, guys. So, just to wrap up, we would like to thank our community partners, speakers, and attendees who came together for enriching knowledge through this forum. We had great set of panel speakers who came together to share thoughts. Just for your information, today's event was broadcasted in the YouTube and the Facebook page of our company. So you can all go and see the recording anytime. Please log on to our website and like the social media channels. We'll be sharing lots of knowledge sharing topics, details, announcement of next events, and much more, which will help you register and attend the same. Also, we would like to thank our partner Infovision, who is a knowledge and innovation partner, and Digit7, who is the technology partner. Digit7 also have a great innovation lab of 15,000 square feet in Richardson, Texas. And any one of you who are dropping by can always go to the office and have a look to feel that. To understand more in depth, connect with them, and to suggest any aspect, all of you can go through their website, which is infovision.com and digit7.io, and closely liaison with them. Further, there are lots more in store for this month and subsequent months with focus on banking, financial, insurance, telecom, retail, healthcare, supply chain, manufacturing, energy, utility, and so on. So, request all of you to keep connected with us and enjoy the learning. Thanks, and do take care of yourself. Have a lovely day and week ahead, guys. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.